like we're kicking the can down the road at the moment, waiting for Manchester City and Arsenal to get their business done. Of course, we play a part in that. Actually, I don't know if you noticed on that. Just before I went to record this video, I noticed that Mohamed Kudus is saying, I'm going to do it for me mate, Thomas Partey over at Arsenal. I thought, oh my, maybe not read the room there, to be honest, Mo. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Well, myself and Jill will be discussing that in the preview later on over on the main channel. What I did want to talk about was this rumour that seems to be doing the rounds that West Ham are going to get their transfer business done early in this window. Now, I think like a lot of people, I get frustrated when we leave it late. I think a lot of the frustration is based in fact. Some of it is just historical frustration. I think certainly in the winter window in January, it was a massive frustration that we waited so long, didn't get the players over the line we wanted to. I wanted Jonathan Rowe. We were in for this Ibrahim Osman. The end, we get Calvin Phillips. We all know that didn't work out. But even if it had done, it was still over the line very, very late. And I felt we wasted the whole of January when the club could have done with some additional squad support. So we're not great at this sort of stuff. I think we're a little bit better in the summer, it has to be said. But anyway, the rumour is that West Ham got all their business lined up. Now, I don't 100% believe the rumour, because how can you have 100% of your business wrapped up? But I do think a lot of it has been done. So first of all, you had the rumour that West Ham had already held negotiations with Wilfried Zaha. I believe it. I believe that to be the case. I think we probably had negotiations with him, and the deal not so much was done with him, but agreements were made with his agent back in January for him to come in January. Now, obviously, David Moyes said, no, I don't want him for obvious reasons. Not going to go into all that again. But it didn't happen. So do I believe that he has been targeted? Absolutely. I also think, because we know that West Ham are targeting 2 centre-backs, I think at least one of those has already been approached, possibly even agreed to join. So, I mean, this was really, really good news. It's not just the leaks have come from the club either. They've come from Steidten, which I know people think is the same thing, but it's not. Steidten seems to leak to different people. Well, Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, it seems to leak to people that are different to who, for instance, the board, the West Ham board traditionally leaks to. So I think you've got different sources of information that are saying the same thing, and then you hear very much from Lopetegui's side of things that he's eager, he's keen to get going. I mean, he's literally pulling at the leash to get started. If you believe everything you hear about Lopetegui, is that he had this project in mind for West Ham for quite some time. He is fully scouted all West Ham games, knows exactly what he thinks West Ham need. This is killing him. If this is frustrating for a lot of us to actually wait for this new dawn, this new era to start, it's incredibly frustrating for him, because as far as I know, I think he thinks that he's had the West Ham job in the bag for the last 3 months. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. What I do believe is that he was preparing for it for at least the last 3 months. As we discussed before, he told his trusted lieutenants, he told his assistant coaches, his fitness coaches, all that stuff. He said, rest up. He stayed in England after the Wolves job. He still lives in Wolverhampton. Said, rest up. We're going to get another Premier League job. I mean, this is pretty well documented, to be honest with you. So he's very, very well prepared. He's ready. And part of that readiness is not only having all of his training schedules already worked out for when he starts, it's actually to have players on board. He has no desire for players to be coming in on transfer deadline day. No, he wants to hit the ground running. And I think he's quite confident of doing so as well. So, I mean, this is really good. I think from West Ham's point of view, it is incredibly good news. And I absolutely want to see it done. And the best thing they can do is as soon as, I think it's July the 1st, is quite possibly when the transfer window opens. I might have it wrong, but if I do, it's only by a day or two. But so start of July, I think the best thing we can do is almost, announce a couple of players within that first week. I think that would be absolutely brilliant. Without going too far into detail on what players we do need, because we've covered that before, and everyone has their own idea on positions, and a lot of it depends on who leaves, a lot of it depends on which of those youth players are going to be used as first team squad members. I don't think anyone expects George Urphy or Lewis Orford to be starting West Ham games for the first team next season, but I think a lot of us do expect that they're going to play their part in the squad and feature and be on the bench quite a lot. And I think that would be great. And I think there's an expectancy within the club that those guys are going to be given a chance. We said it a couple of weeks ago. These guys are going to be given a chance in pre-season training to prove themselves and play pre-season. And they're going to... You feel now that there is a structure and there is a plan. And without getting too much into David Moyes stuff, because as I said, I don't want to keep digging this stuff up, but I think certainly you would feel there wasn't joined up thinking within the club about progressing a lot of these youngsters into the first team. And there seems to at least be a strategy now. Whether it works or not, I don't know. However, what I did want to have a look at is quite how much we got to spend. Now, we'll look at this in more detail. I've sketched down some rough figures, and I could be a million miles away on this, and I've got to say these are just rough figures. I'm not. If somebody comes back and says, "Oh, I think you got this wrong because you're a couple of £1 million out here or there," I wouldn't debate it. I would not question it for a second. But I think this is roughly, if I've got my understanding of this situation, what West Ham have got to spend, and I've got, if you keep looking there, I've written it down in a little list. Then I think we've got quite a lot to spend, and that is without selling Lucas Paqueta, which we'll deal with in just a second. Before I do, this video is sponsored by Manscaped. Hey, I've got it. There it is. I've got the old trimmer again. This is the Manscaped 5.0. This is, I think this is you'd probably say the flagship product in their range. There you go. It's got a torch there. It's completely waterproof, by the way. You can use this in the shower. It's got ceramic blades, so it doesn't cut or nick or do anything nasty to you that you wouldn't want it to. This is the flagship product in their range. My favourite product they got is the beard trimmer. There's a reason the beard trimmer isn't here now. It's up in my bathroom, and that's where it stays because I use it all the bloody time. The thing is magnificent. All their products are magnificent, and we're giving you the opportunity to get 20% off of all Manscaped products. All you got to do is when you go onto their website, and the link is in the description below, you put your stuff in your trolley or your shopping cart or whatever it's called. Put your lotions in there, your ball deodorant, your shavers, anything else you want. And when you get to the checkout, there's a place where it says, "Do you have a discount code?" So yes, it's HammersChat HammersChat 20, all one word. HammersChat 20, all one word. Not only do you get 20% off, you get free shipping as well. If you're ever in any doubt and you need to get yourself a shaver, be it for upstairs, downstairs, or anywhere else. I'm not sure where else you would shave apart from upstairs or downstairs. Maybe your arms. Who knows? But if you did want to get yourself a shaver, this is the best stuff you can buy. It really is. I've been using their products now for, I think they've probably been sponsoring us on and off for the best part of 2-3 years now. I've been using shavers all my life. There's nothing better than this stuff. Check out the link below. Don't forget to use that discount code. Lucas Paqueta. Why did I mention him? Well, because everyone's expecting him to go. And because everyone's expecting him to go, I think a lot of people are factoring in this £85 million into the amount of money West Ham might get or might have to spend. Now, I guess you can do that, but I think there's a couple of reasons not to, which I've covered in depth before, so I'll only skim over them. Firstly, I'm not sure Man City want to bid £85 million for him. I think they can get him on the cheap. So that's why I'm not keen to factor that in. Also, we're still waiting. We were told this week the FA investigation would be done. Well, it's Thursday. I mean, the week's half gone and that's still not happened. So, were those reports false? Not everything you get told is true, right? So, and if the FA investigation's still hanging over him, and there is only it's 6 weeks. It's been going for a long time. It's been going for the best part of 9 months. To suggest that the Lucas Paqueta investigation can carry on for another 6 weeks is not an unreasonable thing to suggest, is it? If you're still going on in 6 weeks, Man City aren't bidding. No one's bidding for him, and we keep him. So, with that in mind, I don't really want to factor him in to my calculations. So I've written it on my whiteboard here. So let me just go through what I think West Ham have got. I still think, from last summer's money, I think we're £20 million down. The fact that we were still bidding the end of last summer for a striker would indicate that. I think we still got a £20 million surplus from last season from the Scamacca money. That's what I think. Now, I'm aware that some of these transfer fees get paid over 5 years, but you've also got to factor in that anyone we're buying, we're going to pay over 5 years as well. So, we'll lump it in as one. It's a really paint by numbers way of doing it. I just want to get an idea of what our budget might be. £15 million for Ben Rama, £8 million for Fornals, £10 million for Tilo Kehrer. Now, I know we spent out big loan money on Calvin Phillips, but we also did get loan money we got loan money for Ben Rama, we got loan money for Kehrer. The loan money we got from them covers Calvin Phillips, if you know what I mean. So I'm not even bothering with the loan fees we've got. So I'm going transfer fees. £15 million Benny, £8 million Fornals, £10 million Kehrer. I do believe Nathan Gerd is leaving. I think that's a big part of, West Ham really stressing that they're going to buy 2 centre-backs in the summer. I think a big part of that is because they know a Gerd's going. Yes, part of it is Zuma's broken, Ogbonna's old, so on and so forth. I think a Gerd's going. I think he's possibly going to the Saudi Pro League. He changed his agent, all that stuff that we've already discussed this week. And I don't think we're getting £30 million back from him. I really don't. So I've put a conservative £20 million. It's a loss. What did he pay? 32 for him. £12 million loss. Not great, is it? Let's be fair. But anyway, there you go. We made £24 million from the Europa League. I'm giving it 20. I'm trying to actually downplay this, by the way, on purpose. Giving that 20. We still got another instalment for Rice. I've called that £30 million. There is a bonus payment of £5 million paid to us in the event of Arsenal qualifying for the Champions League, which they have. Again, to be cautious, to be conservative in my estimations, I've left that out of there. Generally £50 million to spend on a Premier League season. I make that £160 million. And I think that is conservative, and that's without the Lucas Paqueta money. Now, it doesn't seem a lot, does it? It doesn't seem a lot, but I don't think we need as big a squad as last season because we're not in Europe. I think we have players coming back who are going to feature. Now, I don't know, you might think it's Flynn Downs, you might think it's Lewis Orford, you might think it's Freddie Potts that features. Do I think they'll all feature? No, I think some are going out on loan, and I think they'll all, none are being sold. They'll all, but, well, actually, maybe Flynn Downs gets sold. I don't know, but my point is, we've already got an additional midfielder in there, and if Flynn Downs does get sold, you can add his money to that as well. I think we're certainly getting more than we paid for Flynn, but I think he might get his chance under Pellegrini. Pellegrini? What going on about Pellegrini? There we go. He probably would have done, wouldn't he? Got his chance under Pellegrini. Lopetegui, there you go. I was going to say easy mistake to make, a bit of Freudian slip there actually, because a lot of people were saying actually they see this as they see Lopetegui as being Pellegrini 2.0. Maybe not. I think not. I'm certainly hoping that's not the case. So I think looking at it, a couple of centre backs, a striker. Okay, and possibly a left winger. If you think that left winger's Zaha, and a lot of us do, then it ain't going to be big money for him. It's going to be big wages, but not big money. I still don't think you're anywhere near the 60 million with that. And I think Tim Steidten has shown himself to be very adept at spending £30 million pretty damn well. Look at Alvarez, of course. Look at Mohamed Kudus. So I think he can do that quite well as well. I'm not saying we don't need a lot of players. I think we do. I think we do need 5 or 6 players, but. I think you possibly need more if obviously Paqueta gets sold. So I don't think we're in a bad position. I do think the squad does need an overhaul, and I don't think we just need 5 or 6 players. But I do think 3 of those positions can be filled in by squad player, by development players, by academy players. I've not factored in Maxwell Cornet because, quite frankly, we don't know. He might get a chance. You just don't know, do you? I don't want to factor in any fee that we might get for Danny Ings. I'm not sure we'll get one. Why would anyone buy Danny Ings? I think it'd be a graceful thing to do would be to let him go on a free. So I mean, look, there's other parameters in there. There really are. But I do think it's interesting. I think there is a budget there, and actually, when you look at it, and whilst 160 million might not sound a lot, and I have plucked that figure, not out of thin air, I've tried to explain my reasoning why I've come to that calculation. When you look at other teams, they've probably got to sell. There's a lot of teams that have got to sell to meet FFP. We're nowhere near it. We're nowhere near it. Obviously, that there, what I mentioned, is breaking even. That's not borrowing money that you haven't got. I've accounted for all that money. Europa League money, Premier League money, Rice money, Ben Rama, Skamaka, the Agurds, Kehrer, Fornals. It's there. It's accounted for. So, yeah, I think, bearing in mind, I think we're looking reasonably healthy. So I think we get to give it a good go. And whilst I hated that we didn't strengthen in January, and I think ultimately it cost us. I think we were closer against Leverkusen than many people considered that we were, particularly the mainstream media. I think a slightly different attitude from Moyes and a couple of other signings in January. And we could have given that a go. But anyway, that's a regret that's gone. Nothing can be done about that now. But I think we're looking okay. I think we're looking okay for the start of the new season. So early start, early players in. Let me know what you think.